Hello there. What is going on, everyone? Today I'm going to be trying something I've never done before. I'm going to be trying to build a General Madine fleet. Now, I have never used Madine in a fleet before, but I have flown against Madine many times. So I figured, let's go ahead and try to build a fleet of my own for Madine. If you guys are new here to the channel, be sure to click that subscribe button. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. Like the video, share the video, check the links in the description below. And don't forget, we are still giving away a lightsaber. All you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. I am using Ryan Kingston's Fleet Builder today. So I'll put a link to that in the video description as well. So if you're curious, if you're new to Armada, it is a fantastic way to jump into building fleets for Star Wars Armada. So General Madine is a 30-point commander. He is all about navigation. He says when a friendly ship resolves the navigation command, if it spent a dial, it may increase one additional yaw value by 1. If it spent a token, it may either change its speed or increase one yaw value by 1. This guy is fantastic, and there are certain ships that make very, very good use of him. And we're going to start with the flagship for this build today, which is going to be a Liberty. One of the things that's so great about the Liberty is that it has very, very bad maneuverability. Why is that so great about the Liberty? Well, it's actually not, but it works really great when you bring Madine on it. So we have the MC-80 Battle Cruiser, and then we have the MC-80 Star Cruiser for our two Liberty variants. I'm going to go with the cheaper version, the Star Cruiser. I think even though it's got more blue dice, it's a lot more suited to medium range combat than long range combat. We can still make excellent use of it because Madine is going to be having us nav quite a bit. And we'll have the ability to kind of close the distance and get into that closer range much easier. So I plan on potentially stockpiling some nav tokens pretty early and being able to get where we want to be and then be, like really, really quick and then maybe slow down in a hurry. That's kind of the goal for this one. So we'll go ahead and put Madine on here. And there we go. So what I want to do is I want to start out with kind of talking about how this ship is going to move. So first off, look, it's got, if we're speed 3, we've got, nothing in the second click. We've only got 2 clicks altogether. Out of a possible 6 clicks, we've only got 2. So if we spend a nav dial, we're going to get an extra click, but Madine gives us an additional extra click. So that takes us from 2 to 4 clicks, which is pretty good. And if we had a token, that brings us up to 5 clicks. So we have a lot of tokens at speed 3. We have like almost the best maneuverability in the game at that point. If you toss in the amazing little upgrade engine techs, now we take this ship into possibly the best maneuverability ever. So it goes from having like the worst maneuverability to the best maneuverability, and so it becomes a really, really deadly ship with Madine at the helm. And I have seen this firsthand. My buddy Sean likes to run Madine quite a bit, and he likes the MC-80 Star Cruiser, and I've had this used against me quite a lot. So I thought that was a pretty. I did kind of borrow parts of this build from what I have faced in the past. So now, how is this going to threaten me when it gets close? Well, I want to start off, I want to use the new Mon Carin title. Mon Carin has been changed a little bit. It's a 6-point title. It only now works when you do a concentrate fire. It says when you're doing a concentrate fire command while attacking a ship, the defender cannot spend more than 1 defense token during this attack. This initially was something I thought was really cool and then realized, oh, it's not all that great. And then it got changed, and so it's actually worse, but we're in a world right now where there are more and better defense tokens. Evades got buffed, and then Salvo got added to the game, and now all of a sudden there are a lot of viable options. And so all of a sudden I'm like, wow, this is a really good. And then there's super star destroyers and Starhawks and things that can get like 6 defense tokens, and so being only able to spend 1 is now suddenly at a premium. So it's a very, very cool ability, and especially when you look at the Star Destroyer Avenger title that kind of does the same thing, except it's totally useless now. Mon Carin is just excellent. So So I think it's a very good title in a lot of cases, especially since the Clone Wars has shown up. So it's a nice title to have. I am going to add XI7s to this one, and I realize that might sound a little bit redundant because of the fact that, well, we're already saying they can only spend one defense token. They probably weren't going to redirect anyway. They were going to probably try and brace. Well, don't forget, Mon Carin only happens when we do the concentrate fire command. So if we do something like gunnery teams and try to get 2 shots out of that big front arc, then XI7s is going to work well for the second shot as well. So that is just something to think about. Plus, if it comes down to where the other tokens are gone, XI7 is still a nice option to have. If you're trying to do a variation of this list, you could probably drop XI7 for something else. But I think because of Engine Techs and Madine, I'm probably going to be in positions where I can get 2 medium range shots on 2 different ships. It doesn't happen all the time, but that's why I put gunnery teams on here. It doesn't have to be. I think a good alternative for gunnery teams could be Kaitkin and Sholin or something like that is possibly an option. If you're going to drop some points and you want to go a little more squadron heavy, that could work. But this is a ship that wants to be doing nav command all the time, so I'm going to stick with gunnery teams. Between gunnery team and between concentrate fire and nav, I think those are going to be the main commands I'm going to be doing. Again, stockpiling, a nav first turn, and then maybe a nav second turn, maybe a concentrate fire third turn. That's kind of the idea. I actually think probably a good starting way to do this guy is nav first turn, concentrate fire second turn, the nav third turn, and then by then if you're shooting, you spend the token from the second turn's concentrate fire. And then there you go. And then you just kind of alternate back and forth. So when you don't need it, you save the token for when you do need it. So what else are we going to put on this ship? So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to try and focus on blue dice a little bit more. So I'm going to go on with the quad battery turrets. Again, we do want to slow down. We can still go really, really fast with engine techs while being at speed 1. We can still, do basically speed 2 moves at speed 1. So quad battery turrets can work here. Again, it doesn't have to be this, but I'm going to put in one other upgrade that's going to make quad battery turrets more desirable, and that's going to be the SW7 ion batteries. What this is going to do is this is going to allow all of your blue accuracies that are unspent to add 1 damage to the damage total, which means blue is now 100% chance of being damaged. There is no possible way for blue to not inflict damage. So your blue dice are sure things. And this takes a lot of the risk work out of this. This ship already has 4 blue dice in its front arc. If you're concentrating fire as a dial, you can add another one. Then you can quad battery turrets for a 6th blue. They're all at minimum going to be 6 damage. You might even get a crit in there as well. It's not going to be. You don't even have to spend any for XI7. Again, even on the second shot, you can just say you can only spend 1. I'm not spending any of these accuracies. Of course, you will save those accuracies for something like a scatter if you're trying to kill a flotilla. But yeah, so it's a lot of deadly firepower on this one, and that's going to do it for the flagship. Now, this is a build that wants to make great use of the navigation command, one that I usually don't use, right? So it's one of the other reasons I don't do Madine very much. I'm going to go with an MC-30. They are ships that can really make use of Madine, especially at speed 4 when they're trying to, close the gap, get close and personal. This one's going to be a little bit bare bonesy. We're going to go with the XI7s, and we're going to go with assault proton torpedoes. And we'll throw an ordnance expert on there. I'm not putting a title on there for this one. Again, you can come back and add it if you want. Because I'm trying to save points because I'm trying to do some different things. I know everybody always runs admonition or foresight. Used to be admonition all the time. Now it's kind of like foresight all the time. But that's 8 points, and I don't have 8 points because I want to do certain things. Now, if you want to go squadronless, then throw it on there. That's fine. I'm saving a few points for just a little bit of squadrons because I got to have some squadrons in the build. So that's kind of my reasoning for not putting a title on here, but it could totally work. There's other things that you could cut. You could trim some fat elsewhere. You could maybe cut this Corvette that I'm about to do. You could probably do that. I'm going to put a TRC. We're going to put turbo laser reroute circuits on the TRC 90A. And we're going to add Jaina's Light to this one. It just makes it for a very nice maneuverable ship that's going to have crazy maneuverability at the at the higher speeds. It's going to work well with Madine, and it can land on obstacles. It can hide itself. It can take. I put the wrong upgrade on there. I want turbo laser reroute circuits. There we go. And then of course it's going to have the automatic double or crit up to me on one of its shots each turn, which is going to be great for just consistent damage. And that's one of the things I'm really looking forward to with this build is consistent damage and maneuverability. Right. So that's two things that we're getting out of this, and it's going to be fun. Now I'm going to add the wild card. I'm going to add an Assault Frigate Mark II-A, and this one is this one's going to be a fun one. It's not a full build on how I really like to build the Assault Frigate Mark II-A, but I still think it could do some damage. We do have 4 activations, and they're all solid activations here. I'm going to say Paragon, and I'm going to try to make this a salvoing Paragon, and I'm going to put the DB-827 heavy turbo lasers on here. So what this is going to basically be is a ship that I want to go pretty fast, to be maneuverable with Madine, to get into position to where you kind of want to take the shot at it. And now I have, I get to salvo you. I get to, have an automatic die manipulation to put in there, so I get a free crit on that. And then all of a sudden I trigger Paragon, so now I can add black dice when I attack you. I went with the Mark A because I have the better salvo, and if I have you double arced, which I definitely want to do, I'm going to have a better front and side shot that way as well. And so that's kind of where the assault frigates kind of build mentality comes into play. Now, I think there is some room to change the MC-30 and the assault frigates points around if you want to, make one a little stronger at the sacrifice of the other one. But I think they're both in a kind of a mid-level here, so not any one is too deadly. I think a lot of people will still go for the MC-30 first. But yeah, so it is kind of what it is. Now, with 14 points, how many of you can guess already what I'm going to add? That's right. It's going to be 2 Z95s. They're cheap. They can get lucky, but they're really there just to slow down a big bomber swarm coming in for your ships. Now, your ships are going to move pretty fast. So if you want to scrap these Z95 squadrons and put a few more points out there, you can totally do that. If I were going to do something like that, what I would probably do, I would probably change, like maybe add a local fire control so I can salvo an extra time with something like this, or potentially and definitely add like foresight or something like that. I would do something along those lines, or maybe change DB-827 to spinal armament to kind of give this thing like the same dice pool all around. That would also potentially work there. But either way, it's I'm going with the 2 Z95s for right now. I think being able to slow down and stall some stuff, and if you go up against the squadronless ships, well, hey, you can still roll double damage with these guys, right? Red die against ships has the chance for greatness. It doesn't happen very much, but you still have that chance. All right, so for our objectives, we're going to go with. I'm going to start off with Station Assault. Station Assault is going to be good here for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons is, nobody's ever going to choose it. And if they do, it's a pretty nice thing for you having their flagship kind of out in the middle of the battlefield by itself, going real slow. When you have Madine, it means you're going to be able to be on that flagship very, very quickly. Plus, you're going to be able to give them raid tokens and do all that other stuff. So Station Assault is nasty when you're a speedy fleet. And this is a moderately fast fleet. Like, this is a pretty fast fleet. For our yellow, I'm going to go with Fleet Ambush. I like to do stuff like Fleet Ambush when I do not have very many squadrons. It saves me from being completely out-deployed by somebody else's squadrons. Plus, I do have a fairly speedy fleet. I might be able to take out all the ships pretty early that are in the middle of the ambush zone. And then last but not least, we're going to go with Superior Positions or Solar Corona. They're both usually good. In this case, I'm going to lean towards Solar Corona since I don't have that many squadrons, and Superior Positions could backfire if I go up against a rogue heavy or bomber heavy fleet. They can get a lot of rear shots on me. So Solar Corona gives me a lot of deployment advantage. So basically Solar Corona and Fleet Ambush are there for the deployment advantage. Station Assault is just there in case my opponent wants to give me the ability to completely cripple his fleet. So that's the list. That's the Madine list. I would love to hear what you guys think. It's a little bit well-rounded, but again, I could easily see moving some points around to either favor the MC-30 a little bit more or the assault frigate a little bit more. My guess is a lot of you would say no. I would throw the title on that MC-30, and I can imagine that you would. But sometimes it's worth running a good ship without its most popular title, just so you can be like, was it really worth 8 points? Because it didn't die this game. I don't know if I really needed to spend those 8 points on it. Sometimes it's all about the proof of concept. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments section. Also, jump in our Discord. We got a great family-friendly Discord. I'd love to have you as members of and keep the discussion going down there. Links are all going to be in the video description. So check those out. Go over and check out Crabbok.com. Get the free Armada AI expansion so you can play against yourself, test out builds that way, especially with COVID spreading and stuff. A lot of people are staying home. So, if that's you, that give yourself something to do, on a lonely night. Just play some Armada with the AI system. It's free. And, there's other stuff down there too. There's the Deep Space Nine expansion. I put a lot of custom content over on Crabbok.com. Also, big thanks to my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing and help make this channel possible, so thank you for your continued support. Always remember that if you are fixing a turbo laser to a ship, make sure you're probably wearing a spacesuit, because if you're outside exposed to the blackness of space, your eyes are going to pop out of your head, and that would not look well in your next photograph. Like when you go to visit the family for the holidays, you're going to look really bad in those pictures.